Yes, I am Joffey Joe, and this is the show. Call it how I see it. And on today's episode, I got a couple of teams I want to talk to y'all about. First and foremost, I'm going to dive into part 3 of this NFL free agency frenzy period. Yes. Secondly, it is March, people, so that means I got to dive into the NCAA tournament and talk some March Madness. Oh yeah, that's right. And thirdly, I got my boy Joffey Valo. He's back in the house, and we're going to talk about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, and just leave it at that. So, stay tuned. It's finna be an action-packed episode. And we're back, and I finally got the man on, JC, aka Jan Carlo. He is on Call It How I See It, and he's gonna tell you a couple of things about how he sees things. But
thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And we got the one and only Glenn Pratt back in the house, repping the Steelers hat.
Here to call it how I see it.
That's right. It's a pleasure to have you guys on. And given everything that's going on in the NFL world, we're still talking. We're still talking about what's going on. This whole damn free agency frenzy. We're going to do a part 3, all right? So, for the most part, I would say most of the dust has settled. Most of the moves have been made. And there's still like a plethora of guys that could help, some teams. But I don't expect any more big contracts or anything else going to happen in that type of light. But we all saw what happened with your Steelers, G. We all saw, man. So, we need to know, what do you think about the moves?
Let me tell you some expectations. They put the Steelers on the map. Now, I sort of like when they fly under the radar, but with all these moves now, people just want to come expectations. I mean, we're getting an older Russell Wilson, and then we come back with a younger Justin Fields. We went from having no quarterbacks to having at least a competent quarterback room. I mean, we're starving for quarterback play or competent quarterback play.
Right.
So to get these two guys in, I mean, I've been going back and forth with people, and they think that somehow they were telling me today they think that Fields could be there for a trade somehow. And I'm thinking, to me, Fields is the future.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, you run with Russell.
Yep.
Russell's auditioning for another team. He's 30. He'll be 36 during the season. This guy just turned 25. Fields,
yep.
To me, he's obviously the future. In my opinion, I think he has way more. I mean, we're talking upside, unlimited upside. If he could be coached up, I'm excited from that perspective. I really think that going forward, still they made a couple of different moves on defense. I mean, I think there's going to be expectations, but being in that conference and in that division, it's not going to be easy.
No.
Not going to be easy. We're going to need some breaks, and hopefully that quarterback room that's where it starts. You need the guy. We're looking for the guy. We've had a guy for a minute now. We're looking for the guy, and I think Fields has the potential to be that, man. Look, got me definitely excited.
I definitely feel your excitement. I can definitely, Fields can play, bro. It's not like he's a scrub. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Justin Fields can play, bro. Like, let's be real. And it's like, I gotta give Pace, the GM, like some kudos for actually, dishing out Fields in the way that he did. Letting them choose the team because there's other offers on the table for them. And he did the right thing by Fields and let him go to the Steelers, which he can compete it out. I just think, if Russ doesn't start playing well, like if you guys start, just a hypothetical, if it's like the Steelers, start 0-3 or like 1-3 or what I mean, like.
Well, they'll be barking,
There'll be a lot of barking going on.
That's when the whisper starts coming in.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I'm saying. But that comes with a lot of, any team. It could come with the Eagles in a situation where, even though they got Kenny Pickett now.
Not with Kenny Pickett.
I don't know, man. But there's going to be some idiots.
I agree.
There's going to be some idiots out there who are like, Kenny Pickett.
No, you're right.
I mean, like, I'm just like, come on, bro. Like,
I watched last week's episode. Glenn said it himself. The boy can't play.
Yeah, he can. You know what I mean?
Nah, he can't play, bro. I mean, that's 5 yards or whatever.
not a starter. You're not putting him out there week after week and thinking you're going to get to me, you're not going to get the production you need from a starting perspective. He needs to come in for a game, maybe a few plays. That's about it. I don't want him out there week after week. It's just not going to be successful. I don't see it.
Kenny Two Gloves can't do it, man.
See, he went from not wanting to compete with. He's on the bench. At least if he would have not asked for a trade out of Pittsburgh, we would be talking about at least briefly a quarterback competition.
See, and then when I heard them say that it was a competition, to me, I thought that was just media driven because I'm thinking he came in with the expectations, Russell Wilson, to be the starter.
Right.
I think they sold us as a competition, but I think there was no way Russell Wilson was coming in there and sitting behind Kenny Pickett. I just think he was going to be the starter from the door. Kenny Pickett knew that, and he was out. He knew he was out. Like I said, last year when they didn't bring him back, he was done. Once they brought in Russell Wilson, they could spin it as a competition. There was no way Russell Wilson was going to be sitting on the bench when Kenny Pickett was playing. Absolutely not. No way.
I mean, even back to like we were saying last week, Russell Wilson had a good year last year. He really did. So,
what happened in Denver? I mean, a debacle beyond. I mean, what Peyton thought of Russell Wilson just.
He never wanted him. He never wanted him.
Nah, he never wanted him. It was just it was destined to fail from the beginning. It really was.
I agree. No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, given the circumstances of everything, though, I think. I mean, your team's your team's there, bro. I think
that's
your team
what
has
I'm
a
saying.
chance.
I don't want people. We gotta stay within ourselves now. That's just, because we play in that division, we already got it. I mean, they got us right now fourth, right? I mean, coming in. I mean, I don't know after these moves, they're talking about the Steelers were fourth in that division. So I don't know how much these guys can get us to just the division. We still got a Buffalo. The conference is insane.
I know.
Texans. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's teams that are rising. We're trying to look like we're trying to keep up with them, but it's going to be not going to be as easy as people think.
No.
But no doubt, Joffey, they're definitely on the radar now. People are talking about them like crazy. So
that division is
we go.
That division is going to be a bloodbath.
Oh right, no doubt.
It's gonna be a bloodbath for the next couple of years, man. The Browns got better. Everyone got better. Like you have to everyone made moves to make sure they were legitimate. Showing that they could compete.
The Joneses, no
yeah,
doubt.
I mean, especially with the way Baltimore played and shit. I think the only team that didn't really make moves was Baltimore, other than getting Derrick Henry.
Right.
But,
They lost
a lot of pieces.
They lost pieces. I mean, even taking Patrick Queen, right? Taking Patrick Queen from the Ravens, you get the inside scoop of what the Ravens, you get the operation, bro. That is what it is. And that's why I think the Eagles took some of these 49ers guys, the special teams linebacker and fucking the running back from the practice squad, that shit subliminally, you're kind of understanding what they're doing.
Everyone's looking for an edge, man.
Yeah,
Everybody's looking for that competitive advantage, and if you can get just a little bit, you don't know how far that can go.
It totally can go far. Go ahead,
There was one quiet move the Bengals made when they took Geno Stone from Baltimore.
Yes. The safety, right?
The safety. That's a quiet, sneaky move.
That's another insider move there. It is. It's another insider move, though. But, he had, 7 picks last year, too, right?
No, he had a lot of playing time last year.
Yeah, he played a lot. He played really good. He made some plays for them. He was really, a big part of their defense. So
their defense was as solid as it came, man.
I'm glad to see that the Bengals are trying to keep Burrow on his feet this year, though.
I mean, getting those two Brown guys, man, they're freaking... Especially Trent Brown. Trent Brown's 370 pounds, bro.
It's a big human being. I agree.
Fucking humongous, just the mammoth of a human being. But I mean, that's been the problem with Burrow the whole time, is just trying to keep him upright and just trying to make sure he can get the ball out of the pocket.
All you need to do is keep him on his feet, and that's 1B.
Yeah,
right there. 1B.
I agree. So
talking about that Cincinnati team, there were rumors about Steelers and Tyler Boyd. I mean, Steelers have been, I feel like,
that's a reunion.
Receiver. I mean, it's just amazing how much Steelers have been making noise in the free. It's amazing. Never seen Steelers making moves like this.
He might be the one person I'm surprised is not signed yet.
Right.
Tyler
Boyd. I'm surprised Boyd is not signed.
A great slot receiver. I actually thought the Eagles were gonna try and take a stab at him, but they took the direction of Devontae Parker. So.
Well, you have to trade for Tyler Boyd, right? You got franchise.
No, T. Higgins got franchise.
Higgins is the one that got.
That's why. Yeah. That's right. Right. That's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is chilling.
Yeah, I mean, he might want to go somewhere else according to him, but I think his best move is just to stay there for now.
Yeah, he just stay there. You got a top 2-3 quarterback in the league throwing to you with an improved offensive line.
Yeah, that's when egos, man. Sometimes they say there's just not enough balls for these guys. They want to go somewhere and think they're going to get the ball a little bit more.
I agree. So Jay, I wanted to ask you, out of all the moves that the Eagles made, do you think there's anybody else out there in this free agency pool that might be able to help, like an Eddie Jackson or maybe another corner?
The guy from Justin Simmons. I don't understand why he's.
I want him signed tomorrow.
I think everybody.
I want him signed tomorrow.
I think everybody would line up that.
Eagles are doing for the simple fact the questions they have on the back end. To me, Justin Simmons could definitely be the difference. I think. I mean,
it would make the most sense. Everything checks off, like from him playing under Fangio in the past and everything else.
Right.
Even Eddie Jackson, I wouldn't mind, even though he's not where Justin Simmons is. Probably a cheaper option too.
Right.
But I mean, let's be real, bro. Let's be real. I'm not a big Reed Blankenship guy, bro. He's not that good, bro. He's not like some Iowa defensive back that can cover people. I'm not sold on Reed Blankenship. He's a special teams player in my eyes.
It's going to be Gardner Johnson and Sidney Brown. That's what it should be.
It should be.
He's coming off the
ACL, so I don't think he'll be ready till like October.
Oh, right. And then the rumors about Justin Simmons might be wanting to go to Pittsburgh to play with Minka.
Wow.
Glenn.
Look at him. Look at him. He's all gassed up.
I mean, every time I just can't believe the Steelers are linked to so many free agent moves this year. It's unheard of.
It's not really.
Is GM Howie's cousin?
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, man.
It's not. This isn't the Rooney. This isn't the Rooney way, Glenn. This is a different. This is different.
No, stick to tradition, man. You got the homegrown boys.
Yeah, it's usually for the most part, right?
You know, I don't know if it's because of where Tomlin is in his career. I think maybe that could be influencing moves. I'm wondering if they're trying to, not say go all in or go for it, but definitely make themselves a little bit. I mean, after the last 2 years, to me, since Ben has been gone, Tomlin's got to be looking in the mirror thinking, what is this? I mean, from the quarterback stop, you know? So with all these other moves, I'm just thinking it has something to do with Tomlin and just where he's at and being competitive right now.
I agree. There's definitely a lot of control factor in there. Even like him being able to pick Artie Smith as his new offensive coordinator and everything.
Right.
It's do or die for Tom. I think so. You know what I mean? For Mike.
Yeah. Right, but like you were saying about the Eagles, they definitely got to – I still think they – back end, man, they got to fix, like you said, with Reed Blankenship. To me, he's definitely vulnerable at that spot. So you think you need to upgrade there. And
that Giants game, bro. Like I just like when I think of Reed Blankenship, I just think of me at the game on Christmas that we played the Giants, and then just watching the ball go over Reed Blankenship's head, and then I'm just like, God damn, bro, this guy just cannot do anything.
That's funny. Yeah.
Fucking brutal, fucking linebacker, whatever.
Yeah, they Eagles. They still got some moves to make.
I agree.
Like Howie has always seemed to come up with something, man. Yeah. So nothing would surprise me when it comes from what the Eagles do.
He got a couple tricks up his sleeve.
Right.
But overall, I mean, there's a lot of teams that definitely improved from this free agency period. But now, like I said, after most of this dust has settled, I think most of these other guys will end up getting jobs through like training camp or injuries or something else popping up. But I think it's most of these guys are focused on the draft for now. So I guess we'll see how that all turns out. But I mean, real quick as we go into the draft, dude, like the Bears, right? They got all these fucking weapons for Caleb, but they couldn't do it for Justin Fields.
That's why
that's messed up, bro.
It's messed up. That's why I would have kept Justin, drafted Marvin Harrison and Joe Alt, and been done.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different other pieces. There's a lot of ways you could have handled this, and
you got him DJ Moore late and wrong.
Right, but like
Keenan Allen, I'd be pissed.
It was like a robbery, bro.
Speaking of that, what is Harbaugh doing out there?
They have no cap space. There was either get rid of the receivers or get rid of the defensive ends, and they made that decision. That's why Mike Williams had to walk too. But they need that guy that they drafted from TCU to freaking step up. That kid sucked. Quentin Johnson. Yeah, freaking nobody. Just another.
Did you see the contract that Mike Williams got?
Yeah, 1 year, $15 million, right?
1 year, right. That's what I saw.
But like for someone that doesn't really show up, and plus,
is he going to be ready? What's his status?
He was coming off of what? A leg injury,
ACL.
right? ACL. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. He tore it like in the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. So I was wondering when he can't. I wonder if he'll be ready by opening, first game.
If Mike Williams ain't ready, that turf monster gonna be ready. I'll tell you that.
You know what I mean?
That turf monster gonna swallow him up, bro. It's gonna swallow somebody up out there. That damn turf monster.
Take the soul right out of his shoes, bro. He's done.
the Jets, I think the Jets made some good moves. Them giving Tyron Smith, even though he's not what he used to be, that helps out.
Still better than what they had.
They Beecham. I think they'll move Beecham the right tackle. I'm sure they'll probably look into the draft too. So I think the Jets will be all right.
They could have took a broken down Jason Peters and still been fine. Better than what they had last year.
I agree. I think anything would have been better.
Nothing. They had absolutely nothing.
But them bolstering up the line will also help Breece Hall's cause. I think the Jets will be all right. I do. We'll see. A team like Miami.
Rodgers coming off of the keys, like you said earlier. Rodgers' cousins coming off these Achilles. Be interesting to see.
I mean, is this guy really there to play football, or is he really there to launch a political career? Like, come on, bro.
I know, the Independent Party.
Mr. RFK right-hand man, right?
It's all on the table. We just never know when it comes to Rodgers. Smartest man in the room.
I knew something was up when he was carrying that flag opening week, man. But
just put it out there.
But I enjoyed having you guys on tonight. I did. I appreciate it, and I look forward to doing this more.
Always here to call it how I see it.
That's right.
Always ready. Always ready.
But good looks, y'all. Y'all have a good night, all right?
All right, be safe. Y'all be safe. Have a good one, man.
Peace out, guys.
All right, man.
All right, let me get into it. You heard the song, and it's that time of year. It is March Madness. So, currently, as the tournament just starts and begins, we are still in the first four. Yes, 3 of the 4 have been completed. Currently, Colorado and Boise State are in the second half and playing a really close game. So, where to start? Well, I guess I will start with the first 4 round. On Tuesday night, we saw Colorado State and the group of Wagner basketball come victorious. Yes. Colorado State handled a very overrated Virginia team, much to the pleas of a Rick Pitino out there that believes that he should have been in a chance to play in a game like this compared to Virginia and Tony Bennett's boring team that I can't stand watching anymore. Man, Tony Bennett, bro, it is 2024. This is not 2020. This is not 2015. It's not 2016 where everyone's playing clamp defense. Oh my gosh, please, Tony Bennett, switch up your style, please. I'm tired of watching your Virginia Cavaliers come up short, all right? You don't have Malcolm Brogdon walking through the door. You don't have DeAndre Hunter walking through the door anymore. You don't even have Kyle Guy shooting threes on the corner anymore. Please, stop. I don't want to see the Virginia Cavaliers anymore. I am so sick and tired of seeing the Virginia Cavaliers and then putting up 50 points while their opponent puts up 45 points. I'm tired of that. Seriously. I suffered enough watching the Knicks and Sixers play that type of basketball game 2 weeks ago. Please, I don't want to watch it anymore. Please. I am glad Virginia is gone. They did them right. Good job, Colorado State. I am rooting for you guys. Whew. So, as I got that off my chest, I did want to give a shout out to Wagner University. They played a game against Howard where Howard actually came back and almost made it a game. Actually, they did make it a game, but they just couldn't pull it through. We saw Wagner only play with 7 players. Only 7 guys, and 3 of them played every minute. One of those 3, Melvin Council, led the way with 21 points and looked very good. Very promising player. I like him. Very good game. I do give Howard a lot of credit. They were down 17 points, and they were in a position where they could have tied the game in the last final 6 seconds, but they missed 3 three-pointers. And the buzzer rang, and it was over. But overall, good game. Great way to start the tournament, given that Virginia laid an egg. Thing I don't bet. So, tonight, well, a couple hours ago, Grambling State and Montana State played with a bunch of players that I don't know and a bunch of players I'd never heard of. Looked really good on a court. Yeah, that's March Madness. But kudos to Grambling State for coming back and winning. They were down 14 points, I believe, at one point, and they stormed back and won, to the shock of Montana State, who started clunking and shooting bricks and not being able to take it home. March Madness, baby. Right now, Colorado and Boise State are playing in a tight game, and then I believe it is just starting of the second half. So we'll see how that turns out and how any of these teams will not really be any competition to really win the national championship. But hey, like I said, it's March Madness, game by game, and we're watching, right? So, out of the 65 or 66 teams, or 64 teams after a couple hours, how do we decipher a team that's really above the rest? Well, we can look at a team like UConn that is clearly the best team, right? They are the overall number one. Although I feel coming out of the East region, they're going to have their hands full. They are. But they do have legitimate all conference players. And there is a reason why they are the number one overall seed, the defending champs. And they have a tall task, as no team has repeated since the late 2000 Florida Gators with Billy Donovan. And also, it would also be the first team to win it all and being the number one overall seed in almost a decade. So, odds are a bit stacked against them. Last year, also, I don't believe there was any team that was above. I don't believe there was anyone. I don't believe there was any number one seeds in last year's Final Four either. UConn was a 4 seed and they handled their business and won. And Danny Hurley showed that he could do what Kevin Ollie could never do. Yeah. So, back to UConn and their all conference players, right? So, starting with Tristan Newton. Yes, Tristan Newton, a very good player, averaging 15 points, 7 rebounds, and even 6 assists per game. Very true point guard, plays really gritty defense. They also have Cam Spencer, a sharpshooter, averaging 14 points a game. And those two in the backcourt are a very lethal duo. Probably the top echelon of college basketball backcourt. And in terms of having even a great wingman, it helps. They have Fairbairn, a very good shooter as well. 6'8", long, plays the perimeter very well, no homo. And also, they have a 7'2" big man, Donovan Dinglin. Very good player as well, averaging 13 points, shade under 10 rebounds. Danny Hurley has a good squad, and there's a reason that they are the number one overall seed and the favorite to win the whole tournament, given that they do have to beat against another 64 teams. So, odds are stacked against them in that East region, which also contains Iowa State, which is coming in real hot, destroying destroying Calvin Sampson's Houston Cougars in the Big 12 championship game, and probably got the wrong end of things, being the 8th ranked team in this tournament, which I don't think was right. But might give the Cyclones more motivation to move forward in the tournament. So we shall see. I do want to point out Tammin Lipsey, right? As a great player, freshman, played every game this year, and he is a great perimeter defender, and also is first team All Big 12. So watch out for Lipsey. He's a really good player, and I would be surprised if he doesn't come out in the draft this year. In the East region, as their 3rd seed, they also have a hot Illinois team that won their Big Ten championship. They got where they are because they beat 2 tournament teams, including Wisconsin and Nebraska, and they put up 90 points in doing so, beating both teams soundly. And Terrence Shannon Jr. is a baller. Terrence Shannon Jr. in those 3 games in the Big Ten championship accumulated 102 points during the entire tournament. So, pretty crazy. Another team that's formidable and won their conference in the SEC, Auburn, Bruce Pearl's team, came off a victory off of Florida, and they do have Johnny Broom, very good prospect, averaging 16.2 points per game, 8.4 rebounds, probably besides Zach Edey, the best big man in the country. Better prospect than Zach Edey, I would say. But given everything, that is another team to watch out for. So, in terms of the East region, I will go and dissect which matchup I find most intriguing, and that matchup would be Drake versus Washington State, 10 versus 7. Okay, so Washington State, this is their first tournament since Tony Bennett. Yeah, since Tony Bennett in 2008, and the Cougars looked really good in a weak-ass Pac-12. However, they were the 2nd seed in that. Oh no, excuse me. They are the 7th seed, but look dominant against the 2 seed in the West, the Arizona Wildcats, in the Pac-12 this year. So, given that, they should be able to put up a good fight. In terms of the underdog in this matchup, the Drake Bulldogs are back in the tournament after suffering a crushing loss to Miami last year. And I expect one of the nation's best guards, who did not play good against that Miami team, Tucker DeVries, to step up in a big, big game against Washington State. And don't be surprised if you see Drake end up pulling it off. Watch out for Duquesne as well in this region, as they are the 11th seed. Sneaky team. They have the potential to throw a powerhouse team off the rhythm with the style of tempo, so watch out as the A-10 champs match up against BYU, and even could possibly beat Alabama if Alabama was to make it through. In the Midwest, we have Purdue. They are the number 1 seed, and I still don't know what a Boilermaker is. They do have a 7'5" Sasquatch from Canada that does not move very well, but he is an All-American player, even though he's an All-Canadian type of man. And that is Zach Edey. They are on a redemption tour, as they lost very brutally to a 16 team for the second time ever in tournament history, which is very crazy. That was last year. This year, they have a lot of ground to make up, and I can definitely understand their point in terms of trying to validate their loss last year. Last year, they shot, I believe, 231st in three-point percentage, shooting at 33%. This year, they are the second best team in the entire country, shooting 41% from three. So they got some shooters around Zach Edey, and they also brought back Braden Smith, who they had last year, very good guard, and also have Southern Illinois transfer Lance Jones to help solidify things for the perimeter game for the Boilermakers. In that region, we also see Tennessee and Rick Barnes, and according to how their season went, they merit this second seed in this region. Excuse me. So watch out for Dalton Knecht, as he led the Vols in scoring this year with 21 points per game, and 40 perfect, and also has a 40% field goal percentage from three. As a Northern Colorado transfer, has helped the Vols in such big ways this year. Creighton earned their third spot, led by Baylor Sherman, who is a three threat from three, as he has hit 5 threes in 3 different occasions this year, and is also the first player in Creighton history since 1985 to record a triple-double. Kansas is also in this region, as they have underwhelmed this season due to most part of injuries. They still do have Kevin McCullough Jr., and he is quite the prospect. He has experience, he's an elite defender, and can score. Watch out. Really, watch out for him. And they're also getting back their center Dickinson. So watch out for Kansas. They could be a real sleeper team. In the first round, I am intrigued watching this Kansas team play Stanford. And Stanford, the Bulldogs, they can fly, they play fast, and they can throw things off a little bit for this Kansas team if Kansas isn't ready for the challenge. They're playing in Salt Lake City. There's a little bit of altitude involved with that, and it should be interesting in seeing how things develop in this type of matchup. But in this region, watch out for the McNeese State Cowboys, as Will Wade, former LSU coach that got caught up in a scandal and investigation, lost his job because of it, is now coaching at McNeese State, and with the help of Shahada Wells, he has them boys playing well. He really does. They present a big problem for teams, especially for a team like Gonzaga and Kevin Bacon, Mark Few, in that conference, because in this region, because McNeese State was able to run through the Southern Conference. And overall, the way that McNeese State plays, they are very efficient on offense. They don't turn the ball over, and they force turnovers, which can really be very pesky for a lot of other teams. In the Western region, we have UNC as the number 1 seed. A little bit overrated team, I felt. But they do still have RJ Davis. RJ Davis is a stud, averaging 21 points this year, and also was ACC Player of the Year. He has veterans around him, and that team could be dangerous given other matchups that turn to be favorable in their situation. As the 2 seed, we have the Pac-12 regular season champs, Arizona Wildcats, right? And former Tar Heel, Caleb Love, as the star and center of that team. Should be very interesting to see as they match up against other teams as well. Number 3 team in the West, we have the Baylor Bears. And I really like the Baylor Bears. And I'm going to be honest, Jacoby Walter is a player. And he also has another dynamic freshman by his side, Yves Messi. And these two, they can ball. And you really need to watch out for Jacoby, because Jacoby really has a chance. If he lights on fire during this tournament, this team has a legitimate run in their favor. They already have a coach that's won it all. And having a team like this ready, hungry, could be very interesting to watch. I think the best matchup in this region, actually, is going to be the 8 versus 9, where you have Mississippi State playing Tom Izzo's Michigan State team. So Josh Hubbard out of Mississippi State, He's a baller, freshman, 17 points per game, very good. But he does have the tall task against playing a bunch of veterans in Michigan State, which they usually develop over time. So, in terms of those veterans, you have a lot of guards. You're looking at Tyson Walker, very legitimate, solid guard. AJ Hoggard and Jaden Atkins. So, Tommy Izzo, you got to watch out for him in March. You really do. So, I'll be watching. The team that I'm looking out for in that region, like a Cinderella team, is actually New Mexico. New Mexico won 4 games in 4 days to secure their automatic bid. This team has a couple of kids with familiar names, including Jalen House, Eddie House's son, who is averaging 16.1 points per game. The Lobos also have Jamal Mashburn Jr., along with Donovan Dent, who are both key contributors in that backcourt. They also have a top-end. This top-end is JT Toppin. JT, who is one of the best first-year players in the entire country. So watch out for the Lobos, really. Could be a sneaky Elite 8 team. Watch out. But overall, I like Baylor to come out of this region. I really like Baylor. And that's all depending on Jacoby Walter. But we shall see. And finally, I have the Southern region with Calvin Sampson's Houston Cougars being the 1 seed in that region. Okay. They are led by junior guard Jamal Shead, who is a legit player. And he is Big 12 Player of the Year. And also the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He is the epitome and the heart and soul of that Houston Cougars team. So without him, that team doesn't really go. But we shall see. They play hard-nosed defense and like to let teams play their style of game instead of playing other teams' style of play. So a lot of interesting factors in terms of how the Houston Cougars will be playing. Overall, my most intriguing matchup in this region, I found it to be the James Madison and Wisconsin matchup. Okay, Wisconsin shot very well in the Big Ten tournament, but James Madison is one of the best defensive teams in all the country. Okay, they match up well against the 3 and could prove to be really huge in this matchup. Relentless defense by James Madison could spell an upset, so watch out. AJ Storr out of Wisconsin needs to be that guy that he was in the Big Ten tournament, where he put up 22.5 points and 5 rebounds and became the most reliable playmaker that the Badgers needed in a time where they needed a reliable playmaker. My Cinderella team in that region is the number 14 seed Oakland. Even with Kentucky's prospects, right? Coach Cal has failed to reach the second round of the tournament 3 years and counting. Kentucky has been funky all year, and I really won't be surprised if Oakland can really sneak out a win from them. In that region, I want to say it's going to be Houston. I do. But I don't think it's going to be. I actually think it's going to be Duke. I do. I think Kyle Flipowski is an inside and out type of presence that no one else can really match up with in that region. John Shire has reliable and smart guard play also, not just Houston. Like Duke really has real guards that can really play and smart. Jared McCain, Jeremy Roach, who I think is going to be a stud. I do. Just give him some more time. He's going to be a good player, especially in the NBA. He is going to come around. And they also have Tyrese Proctor, who's also a very good player and prospect. I think that they can give Houston all they can and handle in terms of offense, and they can break through Sampson's clamp defense, which could be a total chess match. But they need to have everything rolling on all cylinders and really let everything facilitate through Kyle Flipowski. So that's what I have shaped up in the tournament. I know it's a lot, and it's going to get really crazy. I don't know who's going to beat who. You want to think you do, but then you don't. Honestly, that's just the way this works, and that's why it's crazy, and that's why this is March Madness. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would bet UConn. I would. Like I said, I do like Baylor a lot. I love watching Jacoby Walter play. I was really impressed with what I saw from him, and he can really play, and he can shoot. He's really the total package, and when he comes and declares into the NBA draft, he's gonna be a really good player in the NBA. But time will tell, and we will tell next week who was really who and what teams did not make it out. So we'll see. I'm not really interested in watching Zach Edey ball. He's a tree. It's like a poor man's Yao Ming out there. I'm not trying to watch that. So just my opinion. You can like it. Still don't know what a Boilermaker is, and that's just what it is. I had to call it how I see it. And we're back. And I got my boy, Joe Valo. He is back in the house. He is back on Call It How I See It. And for y'all that may not know why I brought him here, we are here to talk about a specific fight that we talked about a little bit last week on the show. But I wanted to hear my boy Joe Valo's take on this. So, Joe, we know that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson came to an agreement to fight each other. Still a lot of stipulations that need to be cleared up and figured out in terms of whether or not this is a professional bout, or they're gonna. Well, they figured out they wanted to fight in Jerry World, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, which can fit up to 100,000 people, which I don't think it's going to for this fight, but you never know. And it's gonna be on Netflix and sometime in July. That's all we really know. Other than that, a lot of shit is up in the air. We don't know if they're gonna wear headgear. We don't know if they're gonna wear 18-ounce gloves. We don't know if Jake Paul's gonna be, doing this, doing that. I don't know. But what do you think about this whole ordeal and how everything has been organized so far?
I think it's a waste of time. I feel like Jake Paul, everybody trolls Jake Paul about being, a professional fighter. But at the end of the day, he makes more money than a professional fighter does, fighting nobodies. So why not, if you're Jake Paul, why not keep taking these money fights that are pretty much easy fights? People might say Tyson's not an easy fight, but I beg to differ. What do you think is an easy fight?
I think the hardest thing about this fight will probably be the first 3 rounds, just because of age factor. I know Tyson's training and everything, but in terms
Tyson,
of
the first 3 rounds are harder for Jake Paul.
I think it will be I think the only challenges coming into this fight would be the first 3 rounds for Jake Paul. Other than that, I think he would end up tiring out Mike Tyson throughout the fight if they were to fight at least 10 to 12 rounds, which I think would almost be suicidal for a guy like Mike Tyson. I just don't think he can out stamina or keep up with Jake Paul, who's been training, in a professional aspect of his boxing career.
People that think that it's going to be a close fight. The same people saying that Tyson is going to beat Jake Paul are the same people saying, "Oh, why does Jake Paul fight old UFC fighters that are coming off the end of their career with losses?" Right? Let's look back. Let's look at Tyron Woodley. He was at the end of his career, and in the UFC, he was coming off losses. He retires, fights Jake Paul, loses. Ben Askren, the same thing. Anderson Silva, the same thing. Right? Now, Mike Tyson, yeah, he's a boxer. He's way older than Ben Askren, Anderson Silva, and Tyron Woodley. And with that being said, Mike Tyson, at the end of his career, couldn't buy it. Mike Tyson retired with 3 losses in a row, if not more?
Yeah.
He couldn't buy it at the end of his career. So now he's 57. Anderson Silva's 40-something.
Yeah.
And he's still living an athlete's lifestyle. Mike Tyson doesn't live an athlete's lifestyle. Mike Tyson's out smoking weed, doing shrooms, doing drugs.
Yes.
Now he's going to train and be able to compete with a guy that's living an athlete lifestyle in Jake Paul. I don't see it.
I agree with you. I do. Like I'm saying, the first 3 rounds is going to be difficult for I'm saying the first 3 rounds would present a challenge for Jake Paul. Not even be difficult, but present a challenge just because of the puncher's chance, right? If Mike Tyson instinctively could land a punch on Jake Paul and devastate him, or shake him up, that's really the only way. It's almost in the aspect of watching Ngannou fight Anthony Joshua. It's just a heavy hand versus more polished fighter that's been training and that's been taking this more serious of late.
Right there, that people don't want to believe. Tyson is 57. Jake Paul is probably the more. He's got more.
He's got more polish. Yeah.
Right. And, Tyson is skilled. Yes, he's been a boxer. He's been boxing his whole life. It's second nature to him. When I read comments, they're saying, "Oh, if Tyson doesn't knock him out in the first 3 rounds, this is staged." How is Tyson going to land a punch on this guy? He couldn't even catch Roy Jones, and Roy Jones is 50.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look that bad though against Roy Jones, but but Roy Jones has everybody knows Roy Jones has a glass chin. So I mean,
every fight.
If he can't knock out Roy Jones, I don't know if he's going to be able to knock out Jake Paul. Just saying, especially at that age and everything involved there. That's a big question mark to me. And that's what I'm saying. That's where it only takes the first 3 rounds. But anybody that's really saying that Mike Tyson should be the favorite in this fight, they just are kind of a fool, or they're just somebody old that is stuck in the old past of thinking that Mike Tyson is still the world's most dangerous man when he's really not.
I'm seeing old retired fighters saying it, that Mike Tyson's going to win. And it's just crazy to me because it's crazy.
No, it's absolutely ludicrous to even think that, honestly.
Remember right before the Roy Jones fight, everybody was scared for Roy Jones. Oh, Mike Tyson's going to kill you. Why are you getting in there with him? He didn't even get stunned.
No. It was.
It was a,
It was like a hug fest, honestly. It wasn't like it wasn't super. It wasn't super entertaining. It was a good idea, I guess, but you saw where
this is
that
what
was
makes
at.
me think Mike Tyson might get knocked out, right? I watched Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort.
Yeah,
So it was Vitor Belfort's first time boxing. He demolished Evander Holyfield in the first round. It wasn't even close. It was like beating of the elderly.
that's what a lot of people are saying with this. Like if Jake was to hit him like in the ribs or something, like I don't want to see Mike Tyson go out like that, man. That'd be pretty brutal.
Mike Tyson get knocked out.
You think he could get knocked out though, right?
He could, but I don't want to see it. Nobody
No.
wants to see Mike 57 get knocked out.
I mean, overall, like you were saying yesterday to me when we were talking, like this is kind of like a lose-lose for Jake Paul. This doesn't really, I mean, other than grabbing money, this doesn't really benefit Jake Paul in any type of way, honestly. Because if he gets knocked out, he's gonna look bad. But if he knocks out Mike Tyson, he's gonna look bad too. So like,
Yeah, it's a lose-lose.
it is a lose-lose. There's really, other than the money grab, there's really nothing beneficial for Jake Paul in this situation. But
He's outsmarting everybody right now. You know how me and you watch wrestling.
right,
You're a heel in wrestling.
yes,
You play to that to get the crowd into it, and it makes you money, and it makes you more popular, and then people eventually love you as a heel.
right,
Jake Paul is a real life heel.
yes, he knows what he's doing.
He's taking a fight with Mike Tyson. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson lose. Who wants to see Mike Tyson lose?
No, nobody.
So the only thing Jake Paul is winning by beating Mike Tyson is he's becoming a bigger villain.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And now he can go fight somebody else that, nobody else wants to lose, and he can do it again.
He's gonna be doing this until he can't do it no more. Honestly, like he doesn't have to fight any professional fighters. Like the whole Tommy Fury thing, that was a fiasco. And
He doesn't want to fight Tommy again. It's
no,
not smart.
no, it isn't smart. He's in a pressure where he can't level up. You know what I mean? Like he's just gonna plateau at where he's at.
Leveling up by making more money. Look, he got
Well,
a deal with Netflix. That is huge.
That is huge. That's huge as hell. Like even like I was saying last week, he's got his gambling company too. Like that's a big influence into this too. Like he's
The money team didn't get Netflix involved in boxing. It had to be Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. He's doing a lot of innovative shit. He is, and he's not like he's not a saint. He's not. If you look at his past record and what he's done in the past, but overall, like what he's doing moving forward is pretty eye opening, and you have to pay attention to it. In some aspects, he's doing more than his brother is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like his brother taking the wrestling route and other shit. Like he's being more stand up and sticking to what he really wants to do, which I can respect, honestly. So
And he's got himself in a situation that, like, why fight Tommy Fury when it's a harder fight when you can fight Mike Tyson on Netflix, make more money, and it's probably an easier fight.
right, and he knows that. That's what I'm saying. This is all strategically planned by him and his camp. So he knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing.
At the end of the day, he's got to say he wants to be a world champion because that's playing into the heel.
Yes.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he
Okay.
does.
You know?
Well, who knows? Maybe he can parlay this and maybe another fight into fighting Canelo, like he really wants. Like at least he's saying he wants.
Talking Benavidez, so I think maybe he wants to fight. Maybe he wants to fight Jake Paul.
Maybe there is a big money draw there, but I mean, even to that, like, that's a shame by Canelo. He should have took that fight. I think.
He's ducking it hard.
Yeah, I think him ducking it to this point just shows that he's not a world champion anymore. Honestly.
It'd be fine in any other scenario besides the other fighter being Mexican. Why not give your up and coming countryman a chance to gain stardom?
I agree 1,000%. He's not giving him a chance at all, and he's clearly earned his chance. He's a good fighter, and like if you still want to prove that you're a top, if you still want to be one of the best fighters, especially in your country, this is the type of fight you have to take. There's nobody else really from your country that really like has been able to like step up in the ring with you. You know what I mean? It's like you never had a chance to fight De La Hoya really, and like this could have been that. This really could have pushed you over and made you a legend in your country, and then you want to sit down and do that and probably take a fight from Jake Paul.
We're getting to that age. I feel like it's hard for him to pass the torch.
Yes.
He wants to,
Yeah, it's when people get in that spot, Joe, they just want to hold on to it, man, and like they don't want to let it go. It's bullshit. But like someone like Jake Paul, we can respect because he's not in a political factor in boxing. He's just there to just do what he can and reap the benefits of it, really. So.
He's trolling all of us. Like he's really trolling us.
At the end of the day, he just points his finger and laughs at all of us, which he's probably doing right now.
Oh,
So.
Yep.
But
Money right now.
yeah, exactly. But overall, we'll just leave it at that, and should be an exciting fight that we can watch.
Netflix and chill.
Yep, there you go.